Hi, I'm Ashton, and this is a spoiler alert for the last look that I do in this video. But today I wanted to attempt to recreate and or take inspiration from 5 different iconic goth looks. 5 times over the past few weeks that I've done makeup, I have looked at pictures of a specific goth that I wanted to emulate, and I took different aspects of their makeup, sometimes from different pictures, sometimes just from one picture. Today I wanted to share all of that with you. I am not a professional makeup artist. I am not an expert on everything goth, but basically the structure of this video is just me playing with makeup, talking a little bit about the people's bands that I am taking inspiration from, playing around, having fun, experimenting with my expression, because I think that's a fun thing to do. You also, for the first time, get to see me put my hair up. I do it a couple times in this video, so that's fun. A few of you have been asking for that. So yeah, I don't think a lot of people are gonna watch this. This is more just for my enjoyment and entertainment than yours necessarily, but for those of you that ask me about makeup, about fashion, about being goth/punk, about the difference between the subcultures, about subculture in general, I chat a bit about that in this video. So yeah, I think that is probably all I need to say. I hope that you enjoy me fucking around with makeup as much as I did, and if this isn't your style of makeup or expression, then you don't have to watch it. It's okay. But for the rest of you, I hope you enjoy it. This video is very fun, and I hope it can entertain you while you're, chilling at home, because you shouldn't be interacting with people right now. Let's get into the first one. So to start, I'm going to first do the easiest one I have, which is definitely Robert Smith. Last semester, right before my final exam, my French teacher told me you remind me more and more of Robert Smith every day. Didn't expect to come into my French exam and be attacked like this, but here we are. So I say Robert Smith is gonna be easy because his makeup is messy, and that's my style, baby. So I'm going to be basing this mainly off of this picture, but also just I guess my knowledge of what he looked like way back in the day. I was not alive, I say that like I'm an old man. So I think the structure for each one of these, I'm going to explain what aspects of their makeup I'm going to be doing on myself, and then I'm going to just talk about, I guess, music and style as I do my makeup. So for Robert Smith, I'm looking at old pictures of him, and he does messy-ish red lipstick. I'm not a fan of red lipstick on myself, so I'm going to do a mixture of black and red, I think. It looks like he does white foundation. I don't do foundation at all. I don't do skin makeup, so I'm not gonna bother with that. He typically has natural eyebrows, so I'm going to fill mine in a bit, but I'm not going to shape them or anything. And then he does black eyeshadow all the way up to his eyebrow, essentially. So I'm going to be attempting that. I do have an eyebrow piercing, so I'll probably just work around that a little bit. Maybe I won't do all the way up to my eyebrow. And then he also does eyeliner all the way around his eyes, encircling them, which I don't typically do. If I do that, I do large wings on each side, very much like a Edward Scissorhands look. So that's what I'm going to be going for. I guess I'll just start with my eyebrows and work down from there. That's my best bet. I am not good at makeup. I just do this to fuck around and have fun. So a decent amount of you recently have realized that my style is changing a little bit. I feel like it's mostly those of you that are also alternative people. I feel like people that aren't in an alternative scene kind of view goth, punk, emo, all of the subsets of goth and punk as well in this monolithic way. But that's very much not what it is in reality. So it's interesting to see some people in my comments being oh wow, your style's changed a lot recently, or will you talk about that? And then different people being he looks the same. I can kind of see it from both sides, because there are definitely aspects of my style that are the same. But I would say I'm becoming more and more influenced by goth music and goth subculture, goth fashion, goth makeup, etc. This is intense. My family's gonna have questions. I think I also want to talk a little bit about the bands that the bands of the people that I am taking inspiration from in this video, if that makes sense. So The Cure is a band that I've liked for a long, long time. I kind of grew up on their music a little bit. The Cure was one of the bands that I would hear on the radio growing up. And then the past year, and especially the past 3 months, is the first time that I've, I guess, actively started to listen to them, to listen to playlists with them in it, or play one of their albums, or something that isn't just oh, they're on this playlist, so I'll listen to them. The Cure is, I think, a lot of the time seen as one of the most iconic goth bands, but they did have a pop era phase, and I'm not saying I don't like their pop songs, Love Cats fucking slaps, and I won't apologize for that. I do prefer stuff like, you know, the songs on Pornography. For those of you that don't also listen to The Cure, Pornography is an album. I'm not saying their songs are about pornography. How's that? Do you guys think that's close enough to my eyebrows? I feel like I need more. So even though they're like considered a goth rock band most of the time, they did have like a pop phase, which is, you know, fine. Bands go through different eras and such. But like for me, definitely the music that I more seek out is like the goth rock aspects of their music. And there are some people that don't think The Cure is goth at all, like, which is fine. Take that to your grave if you want. But one of their earliest tours, like, was in support of Susie and the Banshees. So without getting into like excruciating detail, The Cure's music in general, I think, went from like post-punk goth to pop and then back to goth rock as like a very general arc. Can't say I'm a fan of this either. It feels very emo. I'm gonna do it a little tiny bit of a wing, just for myself. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say about The Cure. If I'm not like having a proper conversation, I'm just rambling to myself on the internet. What I was talking about, I guess, is like some of you have been like, oh, Ash, you should talk about like your changing style, you know, that'd be fun. Goth and punk are both music-based subcultures. Like the core of the subculture is the music. Punk is definitely an older style of music. Both are very much alive, especially in local scenes. So the defining factors of goth culture and punk culture are both the music. You know, like the forefront aspect of being involved in those groups, in those subcultures, is listening to the music. Of course, they both have aesthetics associated with them. Goth has a few like guiding ideals, philosophies, I guess, associated with it. And punk is very politically driven as well. And then for me, where I fit all into it is I listen to both goth rock and a lot of punk music. When it comes to punk, I like anarcho-punk, I like street punk, I like queercore, especially. Queercore is definitely my favorite. Punk rock for a long time has been my preferred genre, and I don't think that'll change. But I do appreciate goth music. I do actively listen to it. I've been to goth events. Recently, I went to an online goth event. I fucking miss being able to go outside. Both goth and punk are subcultures that I very much enjoy. Anyways, personally, I'm very attached to punk history, punk music, punk politics. It's like a part of me that I don't think I'll let go of, regardless of how much I also like goth. My style is very much influenced by punk and goth. More recently, I've been bringing in more goth, I guess, because I've been listening to more goth music, and I have, like, IRL goth spaces, but I don't think I'll ever let go of punk, because it is my favorite genre of music. It gives me a really nice way of looking at things politically. A lot of the lyrics speak to me. Like, the genre of music is much more my style than goth. However, I do very much enjoy goth music, and I would consider myself a part of both subcultures. Anyways, I'm done with this makeup, so I'm gonna head out and do my Zoomiversity class. But yeah, first one done. This is my Robert Smith-inspired makeup of the day. 1 of 5 down. So my skin is very bad today, but I wanted to put on makeup anyway, because I don't really do like skin-based makeup, so it doesn't matter. Today's goth I am taking inspiration from is Roz Williams of Christian Death. Incredibly fucking beautiful man that I cannot get over how beautiful he is. So I'm going to be taking inspiration from a couple of pictures of him. One is this one, where I'm going to attempt that like very dark contour-esque thing. Never done that before. We will see. And then also his like fun under eye going down eyeliner thingy, which I've done a bit of makeup like surrounding that before, but never like the multiple going down, so that's what I'm gonna go for. And then obviously black lipstick, which I usually wear, I guess. I do a similar shape to him, but he does go like all the way to the ends of his lips, which I don't always do, so I will be doing that. Okay, let us get started. I'm just gonna start with my eyebrows. The pictures look like he does a pretty similar thing to me, where he just fills it in. Unless he just has like these naturally beautiful eyebrows and doesn't do anything. I don't wear makeup every day, like not even close to every day, so these are filmed like multiple days apart. So I have no idea what I was talking about last time. I think I was just talking about like the difference between goth and punk. I guess this video is just gonna be like multiple get ready with me's, but where I'm not getting ready for anything because I'm quarantined. Are my eyebrows the same length? I'm going to start with these things because I think that's going to be the most difficult part for me because it's not like anything I've done before. And I am going to use tape because I'm a pansy. I am not confident about this. I do not put makeup on anywhere but my eyes and mouth. So I listen to like a moderate amount of Christian death. There are definitely bands I prefer, but I do like their music. But my skin's been really bad recently, I say while putting tape on my skin. No, I think it's more because I'm home and I'm stressed and I don't want to be at home, which is a lot of college students right now, I think, but you know, I feel like that's too low. Let's do the rest of the makeup and then we can judge. Actually, I mean, that's not terrible. Why does it look so much worse on this side of my face? Because my skin's worse over here. Anyways, since I've been home, which sucks, my like skin has just gotten significantly worse. I would assume because of the stress. Is that like even? This just looks like terrible sideburns on me. I don't know how he pulls it off, probably because he's more attractive than me. But he also has a very square jaw, which I don't have, so that's gonna be my attempt. Let's move on. I'll do eyes. Anyways, I was talking about Christian Death. I don't really have a lot to say about them. Actually, their like logo is pretty simple, so I'm thinking about making a patch, probably for my black and white jacket. When I do eyeliner with like multiple points, I usually draw out where I want the points of all the points to go before I actually draw the eyeliner, and it's a lot easier for me to see if it's even on each side. I said this wasn't going to be like a tutorial, but here we are. That's your makeup tip from Ashton. I think the thing I'm most trying to emulate here is like the bottom part is a lot of the times bigger than the top part. And usually when I do my makeup, I do the opposite. So that's where I'm experimenting today. He also does definitely have the inner corner thingy, so I'll do that. I do like doing that. I do that in my own makeup sometimes. Do you ever feel like your eyelashes like get in the way? Okay, that's not the worst. Not the best. Not the worst. Okay, let's do that inner corner. And then we're halfway done with my eyes. I usually do prefer to have like more on my upper lid, but this is kind of fun. Like I am enjoying this. I hope they're relatively even. Most of the pictures of him, it doesn't look like he overlined his lips at all, so I'll just be doing like my normal lipstick, but like I said earlier, I'll go up to like the ends of my lips because I don't always do that. I also decided to put a chain on my septum that I reclaimed from a necklace that I took apart because that's just what you do in quarantine. But anyways, this is my Roz Williams inspired look. I think I'm probably gonna take off this, like these thingies, just because they don't work for me like they work for him. But, you know, not everything is what you hope it'll be. So yeah, I will see you again soon with my next attempt at one of these. Today, I've already got my DIY distress fishnets on, and I want to go on a walk later, and I kind of want to put my hair up as well, so I might as well go for Susie Sue. She's obviously on my list, one of the first people I thought of. But then there's obviously the issue of which Susie look do I go for? There's so many. Now, I am tempted by the yellow one from Spellbound, but I don't have any yellow makeup at all. And I do want to kind of keep this true to like the pure black aesthetic because... So I'm going to go for the classic of like this. So I'm going for the eye shape as well as the eyebrow like incorporation. I'm gonna add those two little dots that are in a lot of the iconic photos of her. I want to try the cheek thing that she oftentimes has. It's different in a lot of different pictures, obviously, because it's different days, different makeups, but it's kind of like a warm, blushy red sometimes, so that's what I'm gonna go for. And then she also does the iconic, like, very sharp Cupid's bow. Now my deviation is going to be, as I stated before, I don't like red lipstick on myself unless I'm also doing black lipstick. So I'm going to do the shape of her lips, but in black lipstick. A lot of the photos of her are like black and white. It won't look far off from the black and white, but you know, in color, her most iconic looks are very often like red lipstick. I'm going to be deviating from that. I'm sorry, I don't care. So because I'm still drinking my morning coffee, I'm going to start with the eyes. I feel like Susie is very much like the prototypic goth, so I didn't want to do her first, but obviously I had to put her in the video. So this week is my very last week of school, online at least, and then we'll see how next semester goes. That's my eyebrows, and then she kind of goes straight down from the middle of her eyebrows into like the eyeshadow. So let's attempt that. I hope you all's self-isolation is going well. I'm suffering a little bit. I miss my friends a lot, but something that I'm glad I'm not having to deal with is like boredom. I genuinely can't remember the last time I was bored. I feel like I always have something to do. I've got Animal Crossing to play. I've got Stardew Valley to play. I've got makeup to do when I feel like it. This looks ridiculous. I've got like endless DIY projects because I always do. This is definitely a thing that I haven't tried before. It makes my eyes look small, doesn't it? The outer part will probably help with that, but the problem is like my actual, like the hair of my eyebrows is uneven. I don't have symmetrical eyebrows whatsoever. One of them has more of a cowlick than the other one. One of them's thinner than the other. It's always been that way. I don't care. It's fine. Her eyeliner's never like sharp. I think most of it's probably eyeshadow. I don't know a lot about makeup. I was talking about how I don't get bored really ever. I've also been like taking advantage of this to read more. I won't blame you if you didn't watch it, but in my resolutions/goals for this year video, I talked about wanting to read 50 books. I read 30 last year. I'm currently reading Dracula, and like I feel like I need to because it's very classic horror, and I've been trying to get more into horror books recently because I do enjoy them. But you know, Stephen King put me off, as I talked about in that long ass Stephen King video that a lot of people were mad at. Anyway, I'm enjoying Dracula, but you know how there's like a trope within horror movies, especially I suppose, that like the protagonists are just all clueless. Yeah, I'm really feeling that. I'm not going to spoil anything, even though the book's like however many years old. But so at this point, they know vampires exist, right? No spoilers really, but they know vampires exist at this point. And everyone in the party is starting to note that this one character is pale, tired, losing her appetite. And they know vampires exist. They know that those are the symptoms. And they're all just like, she must be tired. She should go to bed. Oh, maybe we should send her back home, like to a warm place. She must be kind of sick. And I'm like, bitch, she's a vampire. But you know, the dramatic irony is done really well, and I guess that's a part of it. But God, it's infuriating to read. Dracula's all told in kind of a like found footage horror movie, but it's in writing kind of way. So it's all told through people's diaries, journals, and letters to each other. But really, like, reading this man's thoughts when he's like, you know, she's been spending a lot of time in bed. She seems really weak. She's really pale. Like, every day she's paler. And you're sitting there like, sir. There's also, I was talking to a friend about this the other day. There's also so much like oblivious gayness. These two women who are like with men and married or going to be married to men write each other letters constantly. Like I said, the whole story is told through like journals and letters, so you read a lot of their letters, and all of the letters are just like, my dearest, or like, love you always, and it's like real stuff that is, you know, if put in a hetero context, people would be like, oh, they're in love. Lesbians, listen, if you've read Dracula, you know what I'm talking about. Those two women are in love. I will not be taking critique. And then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, I'm also reading Gay Berlin, which is a book my boyfriend got me about like the development of, you know, the gay culture and the gay world in Berlin, Germany. You know, it's fascinating because some of the oldest like words related to gay people come from Berlin in like the 1800s and stuff. So it's really interesting to read about some of the very first like out gay people and the very first people that were fighting for gay rights. So it's cool. I'm not too confident about this, but like from far away, I have such little like space, you know, between my eyes and my eyebrows. Is it because I have hooded eyes? I don't know how to tell. I suppose it's not very helpful that I'm doing all of this with my fingers, but I don't own any makeup brushes. And at this point, I refuse to. DIY or die, baby, including putting your fingers all over your face. I washed my hands before this, don't worry. She definitely doesn't have it as, like, sharp of the inner corner, but I enjoy it, and this is my face. I'm just going for the shape, which I think I have down pretty well, so I'm really just having fun here. Listen, I don't have to go anywhere. Well, I am going on a walk. If you want to do intense goth makeup and walk your dog like you're a normal-ass person, do it. I was a bit worried at first about the whole eyebrow going down into the makeup thing, but I'm a fan so far. So I'm gonna do the cheek makeup thing before I add the dots, just in case it like goes on top. I don't know how I'm gonna do this exactly. She definitely wears foundation, like white foundation. Every goth does. I'm white enough, and I don't want to clog my pores any worse than they already are. My skin is not great, so. Also, look at my mug. Is this not the fucking coolest thing ever? One of my relatives made it for me. College finishes up earlier than a lot of high schools, but for anyone else, you know, finishing up your, you know, messed up, messy online year right now too. I feel you, I'm there. I wasn't sure how I felt about the lines, like the black contour that I did for Roz, but I posted it on Instagram, or like, you know, at the end of one of the slideshowy things, and I got a couple compliments on it. So, you know, maybe I'll try it again at some point. But I didn't think it was my thing at first. Still don't think it necessarily is, but this is definitely not entirely accurate and not entirely even and not very good looking on me, but you know, here we are. Okay, let's finish my coffee. This is the part where I'm deviating because I don't like red lipstick. It's very peaked. Like, look. You know what I'm trying to do. I can never get my lipstick even. I think lipstick is harder than eyeliner. I will never have good lipstick. If I ever do, it's not me. Don't trust it. You can kind of see the red. That's fun. It is still uneven, but so is my entire face. So why must I suffer? Why must God be so cruel? I think that's the makeup done. Now let's get my hair funky. I guess I'm gonna sign it off here, kneeling on my floor, showing you my hair big. 2 more to go. Next I'll probably do Adam Ant, so. It is Sunday. I wouldn't typically be doing my makeup, but I woke up this morning and I was like, I love Adam Ant, which is how I wake up every morning, but now he has a lot of very iconic and like memorable makeup looks, and a lot of them involve stuff that I can't do because I just don't have the makeup for. So I'm going to be doing my best with this classic look, just without the big white stripe. I do have white fabric paint right in front of me because I use it for like DIY stuff all the time. Very tempting, but probably not great for my face, and I just don't think that's gonna happen. So I'm gonna do everything but the white stripe across his entire face. Now the Prince Charming look is also extremely tempting, but that would require red, white, and blue, which I don't have. And the look that I'm gonna go for today, which is this one, has also been kind of pushed through his more current makeup looks, which, like, see, look at this. This is very similar to what I showed you before, but no white stripe. So anyways, I go wild over some Adam Ant music. It's incredible and so much fun, and I would very much highly recommend listening to some Adam and the Ants. Even like the incredibly weird, eccentric music like Ant Rap is just so fun, so good. Go listen to it. Anyways, his makeup and his looks in general are like flamboyant pirate prince is the best way I think I can describe it. I want to do the black line things. I'm probably going to do them a bit more blended out than his because I feel like that's just real intense on me, especially if I'm going to be wearing this today. Obviously the eyeliner. I'm going to fill in my eyebrows, and I'm going to do the X on the side of his face. I do wear X's in my makeup quite frequently. Maybe it's because of Adam Ant, who can say? And then it also looks like sometimes he's got like red right along here and like sometimes here as well, so I might incorporate that as like a blushy contoury thing. If you want some eccentric pirate prince, androgynous, beautiful boy time, that's the ticket, baby. There's absolutely no way I can replicate his hair. Like, I can fluff my hair up a bit, but I don't, like, what does he do with his hair? Is it tinsel? Kind of looks like it. I'm gonna get some, like, warm orangey reds on my eyes first to kind of get that started. Tomorrow is the beginning of my exam week, so I've got some papers to write, some projects to finish up, but I am done with like the majority of my schoolwork, which is nice and good. I really need to trim the sides of my head. For my fellow like shaved sides people, How do you judge when you need to reshave your sides? Because listen, when I start getting bedhead, when I start getting bedhead on the sides of my head that are supposed to be shaved, I really know that I have to trim it. So the eyeliner in these pictures goes all the way around his eyes, but it doesn't really come to like a point anywhere, which is not something that I'm used to and not something that I usually like enjoy on myself, I don't think. I'm not used to eyeliner this small and I don't know if I like it on myself. And also my eyelashes are just really getting in the way. I feel like that's one aspect of makeup that I just never do anything with. Like, I just kind of ignore my eyelashes. It doesn't appeal to me to like really do anything with them. I feel like I'm better at like large eyeliner where I can make my eyes look wild and, you know, untamed, but that's so much more fun than this. And I don't know how Adamant can do this and just put a giant white stripe across his face and make me gay. I know in some of the other clips I've talked about the like bands of the people that I'm emulating a bit, but I honestly don't know what else to say about Adamant. A lot of music that makes me feel trans despite him being, as far as I'm aware, a cishet. This is fun. I'm not a fan of the shape of the eyeliner, but I do like enjoy the kind of, not subtle, but subtle for me, like shape of the red. That's fun. I'm gonna add an X. I feel like his is shaped a little bit differently, but you know, it's the idea, I think, mainly that really makes it, so. I did finish Dracula. I finished it a while ago. I did really enjoy it. I also read a book called Don't Be Evil, which is about like the overtaking of big tech and the power that it holds and monopolies and giant corporations and everything. And I didn't have like very high expectations, but it definitely still disappointed me. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Nothing in there was like surprising, but the stuff I guess that I didn't know about was like not groundbreaking because I already have a perspective on big tech and big corporations in general that's very anti-capitalist. And I do think that like data-driven capitalism and Silicon Valley and all of those things are interesting conversation topics, especially in the realm of anti-capitalism. But the author talks about like reforming capitalism and how, oh, capitalism doesn't work in the form that we have now. And I want to read a book that goes after capitalism. I don't want to read a book where the author's like, capitalism doesn't work when it's like this. It was very apologetic towards capitalism. It seemed very neoliberal to me. So while I'm not the biggest fan of like any solutions that the book proposes and the way sometimes that it analyzes how this all has happened, I do think it's a really interesting look at technology corporations and what they do, not necessarily why they do it or how we can fix it, but like how it is. I think it's an interesting way to look at that. Interesting if you want to learn about big tech, I suppose, but I wouldn't necessarily take it as like a political analysis of why it's the way that it is. The other book I finished recently that I read in one day actually was So You Want to Talk About Race by Ijoma Aluo. I thought it was really, really well done because I thought it was a really, really good primer on some like very modern aspects of talking about race that a lot of white people get wrong. I feel like reading it made me a lot more prepared to talk with fellow white people about race. There were a lot of like things in there that were very culturally relevant. You know, it's a fairly recent book, 2018, I think. It's a pretty quick read. You can get it done in a day like I did, but you don't even have to read like all the way through because there are some chapters that may be more applicable to the things that you see and talk about than others. So you can skip around if you need to, but I would recommend reading the whole thing. It gives a lot of insight on a lot of different aspects of race, and it talks about, you know, a lot of misconceptions that a lot of people have about race. And I feel like it's just a really good primer, kind of 101, 102 style book for understanding politics around race, and I would recommend it. I read it through a library, but I do eventually want to get a copy because it definitely helped me like formulate my thoughts surrounding a lot of these discussions, and I feel like I'm a lot more prepared to talk about them now, and having the book as like a way to, you know, pick it up and pinpoint a section would be helpful, I think. Okay, that was pretty quick, pretty simple, but this is my Adamant look. This is fun for me. I like this look. I was skeptical. It is a bit more experimental than I would usually wear, and the eyes aren't necessarily as emphasized, but I think it's fun. I like it. I would recommend dressing up like Adamant. That's a fun Halloween costume if I actually did put on like the paint and like, or I did like the Prince Charming look, that'd be fun. Did I talk about Prince Charming? Listen to Prince Charming. Okay, I'm gonna stop ranting about Adamant now. I hope you enjoyed my little book discussion, and I will see you in the next and final installment of this little video. Today, I feel bad. I've got to like start hardcore working on my philosophy final paper, which is meant to be 8 pages. I have the outline done, which is going to be helpful, but like, I don't know where I'm going to go with it, and my teacher said she was looking forward to reading my final paper, based on my outline, and I was like, ma'am, thank you, but I am not prepared. So I figured before I start working on that, I might as well cheer myself up a bit. And how do I cheer myself up? Making myself look absolutely ridiculous. So today I am going to attempt to emulate Johnny Melton, also better known as Johnny Slut, of the band Specimen. I really like Specimen. They don't have like a lot of music, so I don't really have any recommendations of where to start with Specimen, because you can just like listen to them and any song is good really. Once you're like familiar with the music, I would highly recommend the album Alive at the Batcave, which is like a live recorded album. You know, live albums never really feel like you're at a concert, but it's better than not being at one at all, you know? So, arguably everyone in Specimen over time has had extremely iconic looks, but I don't know, Johnny Slut speaks to me. Maybe it's because he calls himself a slut, and like, same. I also like aspire to reach the level of fluffiness that his Deathhawk has. Specimen is also like extremely androgynous, which is common throughout like goth bands in general, but I think Specimen in particular, very androgynous, which I personally am a big fan of. There's not a lot of pictures of them, like anywhere online at least, because they definitely aren't one of the more like commonly recognized goth bands like The Cure is. I'm gonna be basing it off of 2 images, this one and this one. Mostly I'm gonna be going for is eyeliner, because I think that's something that's probably the most iconic, other than the straight eyebrows, which I can't really replicate because I have eyebrows. I literally only have actual eyebrows because I have an eyebrow piercing. If I did, once my eyebrow piercing someday inevitably rejects or leaves my body, I will be shaving off my eyebrows. So I'm gonna be going for like the really fun, extravagant eyeliner with multiple different points. I'm gonna have a harder time of this because of my bad eyeball structure, not eyeball, but eyelid, I guess. But you know, I'll do my best. I'm gonna puff up my hair, I think, probably, just for fun. Per usual, because I'm drinking coffee, I'm gonna start with my eyebrows. I had my history final yesterday, which is nice because it means I never have to take a history class again, unless I take a women's history class, because that's my minor. I recently added 2 minors, to my like official college track thing. I am a psychology major with a minor in sexuality studies and women's and gender studies. So here's the issue though, here's my thoughts. The annoying thing about women's and gender studies is that it's not gender studies. It's just women's studies. Last semester I took a course called like interdisciplinary gender, and it was kind of marketed. I don't know if you market college courses, but like it was presented as a gender course where we would talk about gender in art, gender in law, and gender in psychology. And we talked a little bit about gender, but mostly it was just about women. I say that like I fucking hate women, I'm sorry. It was just like very much the way that most cis people see gender. Closed my eyelid too much. Told you I had bad eyeballs. It's okay, because I'm gonna put black like everywhere, so it's fine. So Specimen, I feel like, is one of the like smaller bands that I'm talking about in this video, but I really, really enjoy their stuff. They're like glam goth post-punk? I mean, all goth is post-punk, but I feel like the punk like influence is more obvious in some bands than others. Specimen is definitely one where I listen to it and I'm like, ah yes, this reminds me of punk music. Okay, I'm gonna start drawing out the other side before I do any more chaos on my left. I was talking about women's and gender studies. Anyways, I'm thinking about dropping women's and gender studies because as much as I love women, I really sound like a fucking male feminist. As interesting as women's and gender studies is, I am more interested in like alternative theories of gender, not necessarily like the woman's history of it, you know? Like I find a lot more satisfaction in discussing gender, like, and where it comes from and psychology surrounding it. I don't know, complex things related to gender, you know? And then the minor sexuality studies seems a lot more like LGBT studies in general, which would include trans people. Oh my god, I did it again. Look at this. I'm bad at makeup. But I think I'm going to drop women's and gender studies so I can focus more on sexuality studies, because that also encompasses like gender stuff, not just women's stuff. I also think the sexuality studies department and minor as a whole is probably going to be a lot more friendly to me. I don't want to like expose people at my school, but we have a professor in the women's and gender studies department that is like known for being a TERF. Trans people see women's and gender studies and go, ooh, I want to take that. So I've talked to a lot of people that are my friends that are trans or like non-binary or you know, just not cis-hets. And they're like, oh, whatever you do, don't take a women's and gender studies class with this lady. And then also in the women's and gender studies department, there's this very sad phenomenon of there's a class that I desperately want to take that's about photography and gender identity and like not necessarily drag, but like emphasizing gender and playing around with it in gender performance theory and like self-portraits, and god, it sounds so interesting. I talked to some friends that had a class with the professor that runs it, and she's got some racist tendencies. And to my knowledge, she's the only person that teaches this one class, this photography and gender class. So that's kind of sad. And I am signed up for that class for next semester, and I don't know if I'm going to drop it or if I'm going to go and see how bad it is. And like, there's also something to be said for me as a white person, like taking that class and being like a visible, I guess, ally to people of color in that class and defending them if necessary, because I worry about things that she might say or present, because like according to my friends that have taken classes with this person, she's done quote-unquote art projects where she's like bought quilts and fabric and art from from Mexico and then cut it up to make her own art. I don't know, something about defacing art that you bought from someone that's like, they're still alive, they're still making art, and you buy it and just destroy it. I don't know, something uncomfortable. Takes collections of things that are dropped at the border when people are attacked by ICE and calls that art. And if like a Mexican immigrant made a piece where they went to the border and like highlighted different families' lost belongings and talked about that as like, you know, what it is, xenophobia, as well as like racism and all the compounding things that created ICE and the immigration program as it is, like there's a difference between someone that has a personal stake in that and a personal experience with that creating something beautiful, and a white woman going and being like, look what these brown people lost at the border. And that latter option seems a lot more like what she's doing. So, you know, a few of my Latinx friends have like expressed extreme discomfort with the way that she does her art. So I'm not about to like support that, but then there's the difficulty of like, would it be better for me to take that class because I want to take the class as a class? I'm just not the biggest fan of the professor as far as I know. Again, this is all like stuff that I've heard from friends. This isn't like firsthand experience or anything. Because the unfortunate thing about racist people is they're a lot more willing to listen to white people that talk about racism than people of color that talk about racism. A fun Johnny Slut fact is that when he joined Specimen, it was for keyboard, and he couldn't play keyboard. Like he'd never played keyboard. They were just like, join anyway, and he was like, okay. I would love to know more of that story. I think it's fucking hilarious and very powerful. Okay, this was actually relatively quick. I think I'm getting better at this. Let's put on my black lipstick, and then this video's done. You can't tell a lot about his lips from these pictures, but like from this plus the their compilation album cover, his lipstick looks pretty standard, like what I would normally do, not necessarily like peaked, like Susie Sue's, not necessarily overlined. So I'm just gonna do normal lipstick. Listen, I know I've said it before literally in this video, but I hate putting on lipstick. I'm so bad at it. It's just so difficult to get symmetrical. I feel like eyeliner is so much more forgiving. Okay, and I think that's it. I think I have done my, actually, I'm gonna put my hair up, aren't I? Yeah, I am. But yeah, I guess, for this fifth installment, I guess, in this one video, I was talking a bit about school. So school's almost over by the end of this week. So probably by the time that this video is up, school will be over. Also, every time I do this, it makes me realize how badly I need to re-dye my hair. This obviously will not reach the intensity and or beauty of Johnny's Deathhawk, but, you know, a man can dream. Some pictures of him also have, like, a few longer bits that are just, like, down right over his face. They go, like, way, way down. Putting my hair up and, like, doing my makeup and stuff is such a double-edged sword for me because it makes me feel so much more confident, and it's a lot of fun to do. And, it, you know, makes me feel like myself, but then, like, I'm just existing in my house, and I look like this, like, writing a long-ass philosophy paper, and I don't get to, like, actually go out or dance or anything, and, like, it feels good, and it feels right for me, but it also makes me miss doing things. You know, this is what I should do. When school is over, I'm gonna get black dye. I'm gonna dye my hair, shave the sides of my head again, and it's going to be a good self-care day, and it's going to be a celebration for finishing my exams and surviving my first year of college, even though half of it was spent in my parents' house socially distancing. Oh, I also at some point want to try Liberty Spikes. I know it's more punk than goth, but you know, I'm both, it's fine. I've never done Liberty Spikes. I feel like I should. I feel like it's on a checklist of some sort. But I would definitely have to, like, pull out a blow dryer and use a lot of gel. Okay, I think this might be the best I can do at this juncture. I guess I'm gonna step into my bathroom again so you can really see what I've done. And then I will close out this video. Wow, I can't believe it. This has been a long time in the making. Kneeling on my floor again. I've been here before in this video. This is fun. I enjoyed this one a lot. I'm a big fan of, like, the multiple spikies on my eyes. The lipstick is pretty standard for me. The blush, like, the blush contour is growing on me. Might do it more often, not just for this video. I really have fun putting my hair up. It's very good, very fun, very pure. So yeah, this is the final look. So yeah, this is the last Ashton steals looks from Iconic Goths look. So I guess that is it for this video. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. I'm sorry it was a bit of a long video, but you know, I think it did have to be for me to, like, accurately do everything. So yeah, I think I achieved my goal of trying a few new things with makeup. I definitely experimented more than I usually do. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had some fun watching me. So I would love to know your favorite, the one you think I fucked up the most, and who you wish I'd done and didn't, because I don't know, maybe I'll do another one of these with like 5 more, or just like 3 for a shorter version of this. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Goodbye, comrades. I hope you are doing whatever you want to feel comfortable in your own body, even when you're alone, because fuck it, even if people aren't gonna see you, you can look cute for yourself. And I will talk to you later, maybe.